Okay, you should have the file open in your Silhouette Studio program. What we're going to do today is we're going to cut by color. So I want to start by cutting my purple out. So I'm going to load my 8.5 by 11 purple cardstock on my cutting mat. I'm going to go to the cut screen, select advanced, and I'm going to uncheck the green and check the purple. Now what that's going to do is it's going to cut out just the purple flowers, and you'll see that it's got a dark outline on it that tells you what's going to cut. Make sure you have cardstock selected. Make sure that you have your blade in the machine set to 4 and send to Silhouette. Remove all of that from the mat, and we're going to put on the green cardstock. We're going to check the green box, uncheck the purple box. Again, you'll see the dark green outline, and we'll send to Silhouette. Now your flowers should all be cut out. All right, now we're going to start making the roses, okay? I wanted to show you my list of supplies that I use. Of course, this is my Perfect Pearl spray. This is my absolutely favorite glitter, and I have it listed on the website. It's by Donna Salazar. And my glue, of course, which I told you about, is the Scott adhesive. And of course, here I have all the cutouts for my rose. This is for one rose. I'm going to build the small one today. Of course, here's the small one. Here's the large one. And then we have the McGill petal roller that I mentioned also in the video. It's listed on the blog. Comes in a set of 4. And this is what I guess is kind of a petal roller made by a different company, but it's also the same as a quilling tool. And I'm not sure you can see that there, but it's kind of got a split here that you put your paper in. So I do have a link on this for the exact one. The only place I could find it online was at scrapbook.com, and they're out of stock. But any quilling tool that has the split at the end that you can put the paper through. And that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start with this one. So I'm going to kind of thread it and put it up to the camera. Maybe then you can see how it's just kind of split on the end. That makes the rolled flowers the easiest. So that you're going to really want something like that. If not, you can just use a regular paintbrush. It's a little bit more work. Something round, even a dowel rod would work. And then we need our trusty old mouse pad. We thought we didn't use these anymore, but we do. So especially for the rolled flowers, it really looks good. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to roll this. So if you have a pencil or anything small that you can kind of roll it with, you're just going to wrap the end around, and I'm hoping you can see that here. And you're just going to twist it around the tip. See, I'm going around the tip of here. And you're just going to do it kind of tight and roll it until it's all gone. Keeping it pretty tight, especially when the first roll. And you'll see what I mean. Now, as you see, we've got like a round piece here. That's actually going to fold in and be the bottom of the rose. So we're going to keep rolling until we get to that point. And it starts sliding around. It kind of feels like it's a little pain in the butt. But just keep doing it and then pull it off your tool. So I pulled it off of that, and I'm still holding it in my fingers. And I'm going to bend this little thing under, kind of crease it a little bit, and then let go. And what that does is when you let go, it makes it the center of the rose. But because we have to glue this and it's got to sit for a little bit, I always do this part first. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our glue, and I hope this isn't jammed. It has been in the past. We're going to take it and we're going to put a whole bunch of glue right on that bottom circle. and right on the tip here of the last petal. Once you've got that together, then you're going to take the bottom and you're going to put it underneath all the other petals and just hold it between your fingers for just a few seconds till it starts holding, which is why I said you want to use a quick dry glue. Because if you were going to sit here, you'd be doing this with a regular glue for hours before it dried. And once it starts drying, then you can kind of let it go. Shape it round, however you want to do. But as it releases, and it will because you won't have that tension on it, it'll hold. As you can see by the picture there, mine's pretty much holding on its own. So now what you want to do is you want to kind of set this aside and move it out of your way for now so that it sits and dries. Now what we're going to do is grab our mouse pad, grab our large petal, and you can grab, again, your paintbrush. I happen to like having the roller. This particular tool does have the petal roller on one end. And you can use that and just kind of go, and you're going to round, circle it kind of in circles, and do every other petal so that it's got some curvature to it. And I'm going to go around and do every other petal. Then I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to do the other side of the petals that were not done. So you've got all 6 done and they're kind of curved up. You can kind of see here how they're just curved around. Put that aside and do your second largest one. Do the same thing. Circular motion, every other petal. And then turn it over and do the same thing. And there's no conformity. It doesn't have to be perfect. There's not a perfect rose out there that we know of. And you've got your 2 largest ones done. Now take the center of them, doesn't matter which side, but the center, and kind of put a little scoop in it so that it looks like a Dorito chip. And you're going to do the same thing with the other large one. Now pick one of them and put a dab of glue on the opposite side, just like that, of the scoop, of course. Now I suggest you put these together by alternating your petals, which means they're not going to look, we don't want them to match. So turn however you have to so that they don't match. And push together really hard. And then I like to take my round circular thing, my paintbrush, whatever I'm using, to just scoop it out some more and set that aside. Now take your next petal and do the exact same thing on these edges. Now don't go as deep because these aren't as big. Oops, I messed that one up. They aren't as big as the other ones are. So now because I messed that one up, and see, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to make sure there's 3 of each that are curved on each side, each direction. There's the second one. Once you've got those 2 done, again do your center on both of them. And glue them the same way as you did the other ones. Again, be sure to alternate your petals so it fills in very nicely. And try and make sure they stay in the center. And now those are put together, and we're going to put a dab of glue on those 2 and put them inside the big one. Again, trying to make sure they're in the center. And of course the petals won't line up, or shouldn't line up, and that one got off center. So I'm going to pull that one apart. and slide it over a little bit and press down in the center again so that your rose is all put together like that. Now with your last one, which should be your smallest one, you're going to only do one side, curve each petal up so that it's on the one side. So all 6 petals should curve in the same direction. Then what you're going to do is do the inside of this one. So it actually makes a pretty tight scoop. So it kind of looks like that, if you can see that. This one is the only one that's different than the others. Now I put some glue dabbed on the bottom of that, and I'm going to put that again in the center. And push it all down real good, especially this one. You can even do a turn motion as you see that I'm doing. Okay, so now you've got your base for your rose is done. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put the center, the little round one that we made that was sitting over there drying, we're actually going to glue this in the center of the rose. And I use quite a bit of glue on this. And you're going to drop that in the center of the rose and push down with your fingers. And you will need to hold that for a little bit so that it stays starting to dry. Now once this is dry, and mine is not yet, but it will be in a few minutes. Once this is dry, you can come along and you can look at your rose and you can see if you have any gaps where you may need to add petals. I see one, I could use a petal over here because this one kind of bent up too far and this one bent down. So it looks like it's lost a petal. So what you're going to do at that point is you're going to grab one of these little petals we've cut out. And we're going to do the circular motion on that petal, so that it does also have some circular motion. And you're just going to put some glue on there. And then you're going to shove it into your rose wherever you feel it's necessary. And kind of hold it in place. Now this particular rose came out really nice when I did the little rolling method. So all these extra petals I don't feel I really need to use. But it's always nice to have them in case you do. So that should help you out with that. Now we're going to let those dry a little bit and then I'll be back to tell you how to put the leaves on. There's some tricks to the leaves that we have a couple alternative ways to do. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, now at this point your flower should be all nice and dry. What I wanted to tell you about your leaves. If you are mounting this on something such as the 5x7 card box, you do not need to glue the leaves to the flower at this point. You can choose to glue them straightly to the box. If you're using this on a tag or some other thing that maybe you can't attach them separately to, then you would want to glue the leaves at this point. Now on the bottom of the flower, I put this little star. It just kind of securely holds everything together. And then I add my leaves and my leaf flourishes. And so therefore then it comes together and looks like that, and it's all nicely glued. And you can mount it on the quarter of a tag and have it look really nice. But either way you do it, this is the point where you would attach your leaves. Unless you want only glitter on your flower. And since that's all I'm working on right here is my flower, I'm going to show you how I do the glitter. Now, when I first started doing these, I found I had glitter all over the place. So I really tried to find a way that would not make such a mess. So what we had come up with was a box, just a cardboard box. They actually sell one, but I couldn't see paying money for a cardboard box. So my husband found one that would actually work, and he cut it out in a shape that really does protect my workspace around putting on the glitter and the spray. So I have a picture of the design on the blog. So take a look at that. I'm sure we all have boxes. So what I'm going to do is show you how I do that. Okay, as you can see, I have my box here. Now, this is hard because it kind of goes over the camera, but I'm going to give it the best shot. Now, I'm going to take my rose and I'm going to put it, as you can tell, we've got tons of glitter here. I'm going to put my rose in the center, and then I'm going to get my Perfect Pearls. Perfect Pearls is a Ranger Rick spray that I actually basically use just to hold my glitter. So what I do is and it's got a bead, as you can probably hear. So you've got to make sure that it is shook up really well. And then I just literally stand over it and spray. 2 dabs maybe. And then I have my glitter, which I love. And the reason I like it is such a fine glitter. And this is not clear. It's actually got a name of Wild Berry. It has a little tone of purple in it, but not enough to matter. What it does is it's not white either. And by using that, it just gives it a really, really, really nice color. So those are the 2 products that I use a lot. Now, it does take some time to dry. I'll pick it up and tip it over and make sure any loose glitter is coming off. And then I just sit my nice little rose to dry for just a few minutes. And then I take it in and I spray it with hairspray. Nobody wants to get glitter on anything, and now their whole house becomes glitter. So as long as you spray it with the hairspray, it will not come off. Okay, tip it over because it does get inside the rose. And let that dry. If you want to not glitter your leaves and you just want the flower to have some glitter, you could just glitter it right there. If you don't want glitter at all, don't do it. The Perfect Pearls looks really nice even without the glitter. It's just got a pearly finish to it. And what I use is the Perfect Pearl color, which is kind of a little white. So hopefully that'll help you make your roses. Please leave us any comments that you have so that if you have questions or anything, I can help you out with them. But as you can tell, I think these roses are just absolutely beautiful.